All right, watering your garden is something that takes time and patience and some developed intuition to know how much to water and when. And I want to share with you some things that I notice when I come to water my garden. So if I look here at these plants that I have seeded, I look at the radishes here and I see that it looks really dry on the side, and if I pick it up and try to make a clump with it, it crumbles. And I look over here along the arugula and it looks a little bit darker, so I want to check that soil, and it still is pretty crumbly, so I am going to water. So one of the biggest mistakes that I see with people watering is they kind of do this and call it good. If you water like that, you'll need to water every day, 3 or 4 times a day to water your plants effectively. The way that I like to water is more thinking of a good soaking rain. And I count at least 2, 3, sometimes 10 depending on the plant. So like watering the arugula here, I will go 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3 on each row of the arugula. We'll let that sink in for a little bit and then come back and check out the soil. Over here on the tomatoes, the white powder that's on there, just probably be a question people come up with, is diatomaceous earth. And that is to prevent the flea beetles that we're having a problem with here. So for watering my tomatoes, I really want to water at the base of the plant, and I really want to give these plants a good deep soak into their root. So this kind of garden watering handle is really nice because you can have different settings. So this one I'm going to use shrub, and this is what it looks like. And this has a lock button. I'm going to come down to the bottom of my tomato plant and really give that a good soak. So it's about 8 seconds for each one that I'm doing. And when I plant my plants, I like to kind of make a circle trough around the bottom of where they go in. And that way the water will stay and funnel in there, whether it's me watering or rain coming. So now that the water has soaked in there, let's check the moisture level of this soil. So I pick it up and I give it a squeeze and see how it holds that nice shape. Whereas if I come to the water on the side, I don't want to water here. I don't want to water my weeds. And you can see that soil doesn't really hold a shape compared to that. So that is watering. Oh, and before I forget, when you are winding up your hose, never ever drag your watering wand or whatever device you have across the ground. If you drag it and it bangs along the soil, it will crack and break, and the middle part will fall out, and then you'll have to replace it. As you're winding up your hose, I always hold my watering nozzle and then I pick up the hose as I go. I'm always holding on to this part, never dragging this across.